Over 20 years ago, the World Health Organization and other health authorities came up with a plan for smokers who choose to quit. Today, the whole health industry in America promotes smoking cessation, which includes medication, nicotine replacement therapy, and professional consultation. Smokers who choose to quit can find plans with 5, 8, and even 12 steps adapted from Alcohol Anonymous. Hundreds of millions of dollars are spent every year to help people quit smoking with nicotine replacement therapy, medication, and consultation. However, the statistics shows nothing than a failure of it. In this video, I will show you why the program offered by health authorities is designed only to help smokers quit until they have the next relapse. So let's look at the facts. Only in the third age, after the age of 65, smokers tend to kick out the killing habit. You see, the only reason for over 50% quitting rate in the third age is because in that age the diseases caused by smoking are already in advanced stage, and the fear of dying is greater than the fear to quit. As an expert, I expected to see a declining trend in the age group 45 to 64 because at that age, smoking related diseases usually take place. As a matter of fact, the survey published in March 2018 by the Foundation of a Smoke-Free World shows that 30% of American smokers use nicotine replacement therapy and medication to help them kick the killing addiction. However, the statistics for 2018 do not show any success with this method for smokers between 18 to 64. So let's jump right in to see why most likely the average smoker is going to fail with the program offered by the government. In the first stage, the smoker has to choose a quitting day, but to quit smoking is like going to fight a war against cigarettes and tobacco, right? But how can someone ask a soldier to join the war without first identifying who is the enemy and building a winning strategy? Because we know that after 4 days, the amount of nicotine in the blood is not relevant to maintain the physical addiction to nicotine. So what left is the emotional addiction and the habit of smoking throughout the day. The number one reason why smokers having hard time to make a decision to quit is because they fear from winning and becoming free of nicotine. They think that something bad is going to happen, that they are going to be depressed, gain weight, and be in a bad mood all the time. Because of the fear they hold, they think they are going to slip back to their addiction. In addition to that, smokers have habitual behavior to postpone quitting time. Therefore, telling smokers to choose the quitting day in the beginning would make them postpone it even further. In step number 2, the smoker writes down his reasons for quitting, and the list should serve as a reminder in the time when craving occurs. Great step, but the motivation to quit was established because of those reasons to begin with. The average smoker above the age of 40 already understands the consequences of smoking before he made the decision to quit and turn to seek help. In step number 3, the smoker has to identify his smoking triggers. And what are the suggested ways smokers should take to control them? The experts offer to completely avoid those triggers. As a matter of fact, This step is a setup for the next relapse. Actually, smokers that quit and return to the addiction can testify that one of the emotional or social triggers caused them to have one cigarette and then many more after. There are two reasons for that. Number one, it is almost impossible to avoid living life. Feeling down, stressed, and lonely are also part of life for many smokers. And to have a fight with a spouse, a coworker, or even with a friend is not something we can avoid all the time. Not to mention going to bars or to social events with friends are excellent reasons to light only one cigarette. Reason number two, there is no information presented to smokers about the involvement of dopamine in addiction to nicotine and in the fear of quitting. As you can see, high dopamine level was measured not only in addiction to nicotine, morphine, heroin, and amphetamine, but also after eating tasty food and after having sex. It means the addiction is to the positive mental feeling of high level of dopamine. As you now understand, high level of dopamine holds the smoker hostage and addicted to the substance like nicotine, heroin, amphetamine, and tasty food, or to the behavior that raises dopamine like watching porno, gambling, or going on a daily shopping. Therefore, the true addiction is not addressed. Smokers wrongly think that they are addicted to nicotine and to the habit of smoking in trigger times. But if we look at those trigger times, we can find them suitable for raising dopamine level. That is to feel more relaxed, focused, confident, and overall good sensation, even though in reality the smoker's life is a mess. In step number four, the smoker prepares to fight cravings and how experts suggest to fight them? With willpower, of course. That's the only weapon the smoker has to find for his health and life. But the fact is that one day the desire to smoke only one cigarette was stronger than not to light it. You see, if a smoker fights craving coming from his mind, it simply means that he's fighting himself. But how can someone fight himself without knowing from where in the mind the cravings are coming and why they're coming, especially in trigger times? Without knowing this, the smoker sets himself for a relapse. In step number five, the smoker has to get rid of all smoking reminders. However, smokers did not learn how to deal and get rid of mental reminders, as they are going to appear especially during trigger times. Smokers do not know how to overcome them successfully without stress, anxiety, and being moody. Most relapses occur when smokers fight the reminders with willpower and fail to deal with them. In step number six, the smoker is supposed to quit. At this point, to make quitting easier, the experts suggest to seek help. However, the latest research shows that professional consultation, nicotine replacement therapy, and prescription drugs combined together can help only 8 out of 100 to stay non-smokers for 1 year. Needless to say that in case of smoking disease, after 1 year, the ex-smoker is considered to be healed. But no one check how many ex-smokers experience a relapse after more than a year from time of quitting. In step number seven, the smoker should announce to his family and friends about his decision to quit and ask for their support. That's great, but Many smokers already did it a few times in the past when they tried on their own, and this time they might be embarrassed to repeat the foolish announcement. That is because once and again the smoker starts a quitting program without knowing against whom he's going to fight, without strategy to win the war, and without proper tools to achieve his goal to become a smoke free person. And because of that, the smoker is still fear to quit and believes he's going to fail this time too. I want to conclude this video with the following facts. Over 70% of adult smokers want to quit. Over 60% of American smokers will try to quit on their own. According to the survey that was done in March of 2018 by the Foundation of a Smoke-Free World, 30% will use nicotine replacement therapy and medications. If there was any measurable success with this method, we should see a reflection of it, right? But there isn't. Not just that, but also smokers tend not to use the consulting help offered free of charge. Every state has a free tobacco quit line. In Michigan, there are 1.5 million smokers. During a period of 6 months, only about 2,500 smokers called the toll-free number. That's only about 5,000 smokers a year, which are only a third of 1% of smokers in Michigan. This shows that even the broad advertising and the tons of money spent on giving free medication, nicotine replacement therapy, and professional consultation, the results are not to be proud of. And in the case of smoke cessation, is the World Health Organization walking naked among blindfolded smokers?